we have to run very quickly because we don't have time. We'll continue item 14, and after we listen to Mr. Bradley regarding his report about the working group. Do you have any comments or questions or intervention regarding Mr. Bradley report? Yes? Anyway, you can, if you have anything to raise it, you can raise it later, because still we will not adapt it finally as we adapt it one time at the end. So the draft decision 42 14 is agreed. If you have any comments, you can just say it later, and we will adopt it finally with the other decision. Spain, sorry. Spain, please, you have the floor.
Simplemente vamos a ver una pregunta sobre procedimiento. ¿Quiere decir que al final vamos a ver todos los borradores de decisiones con las enmiendas propuestas cuando terminemos de hablar en general de los distintos puntos que se han presentado conjuntamente?
Now we will deal with item number 9A. Which concern the progress report on the reflection concerning upstream process. This report is presented in document 9A. I would like to invite Mr. Balsamo from the World Heritage Center to briefly present this item. Mr. Balsamo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last year, Decision 41,9A established firmly the upstream process as a statutory procedure and requested the Secretariat to include upstream process request format in the text of the revision of DOGs foreseen for next year in 2019. And Decision 41,9A established the procedure and the format to request upstream process advice. The procedure defined two deadlines for receiving requests per year, 31 March and 31 October, and limited the number of upstream process requests to 10 per year. In the same decision, priority is given to requests for preparation of revision of tentative list to least developed countries, low income and lower middle income countries, and small island development states, through the mechanism of paragraph 61C. And the revised upstream process has yielded positive results for state parties who requested support. By most recent deadline, the 31 March 2018, the World Heritage Center received a total of 16 upstream process requests, a significant number of which were from least developed countries, lower middle income countries, and most notably, 3 requests were from state parties without any inscribed properties and 5 from state parties with up to 2 properties. Despite the fact that the World Heritage Center received more than the established 10 request limits, the Center and the advisory bodies have collectively agreed to work towards accommodating all of the requests, beginning with the first 10 received. In accordance with their established procedures, the advisory bodies are in the process of evaluating the request and providing advising to state parties. And since the number of requests received exceed the cap of 10, it is suggested to set the following deadline for receiving upstream requests to 31 March 2019. And as you know, the discussion on the definition of the upstream process and the effectiveness of the global strategy for a balanced representative World Heritage List was part of the mandate of the extended ad hoc working group for 2017 and 2018. And document 9A should therefore be read in conjunction with document 12A. And it is in document 12A that you will find the definition for upstream process as revised by the ad hoc working group, as well as the related decision approving this revised definition. The committee may wish to have all its decisions on upstream process put together into a single decision, and therefore include a paragraph on upstream, the paragraph on upstream in decision 12A into decision 9A. The draft decision is in front of you on page 4 of both the English and French version of document 9A, and this is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there any comments, or do you need something in the screen? We put all the four on the screen for decision. Tanzania, please.
Madam Chair, Tanzania, United Republic of Tanzania commend the ad hoc group for comprehensive work on those 4 items, but in particular regarding upstream process. It also commends the Secretariat and advisory body for the report. Tanzania notes the challenge related to selection and acknowledge the effort realized by Secretariat and the advisory body to accommodate all the requests and consider the possibility of extending the deadline. Madam Chair, we have seen during this committee that sometimes we have challenges. Properties are inscribed and suddenly we wanted to inscribe them in danger list. Having realized that, delegation from Tanzania proposed a very minor amendment to openly target those third parties without the site in list to continue their effort and maintaining the dynamism within the process of upstream. Tanzania believe that in this is an appropriate step to better foresee and prepare for challenge of protection, conservation, and management of their property. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Burkina Faso, please, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Le rapport présenté sur le processus en amont traduit les points de vue qui se sont exprimés durant les discussions au sein du groupe de travail ad hoc, chargé en autres de discuter de la définition du processus en amont et de l'efficacité de la stratégie globale pour une liste du patrimoine mondial équilibrée et représentative. Ma délégation s'est associée au consensus qui s'est dégagé en faveur d'une définition brève et concise du processus en amont et soutient donc la définition qui a été retenue dans le rapport. Mon pays reconnaît la pertinence de cette initiative du processus en amont qui permet d'améliorer les propositions d'inscription et invite le Centre du patrimoine et les organisations consultatives à continuer d'accorder toute l'attention qui sied aux prestations du Conseil. En outre, nous rappelons à cet égard le lien entre le processus en amont et la stratégie globale pour une liste du patrimoine mondial équilibrée et représentative, car l'objectif à terme du processus en amont est d'aider les États qui en font la demande à bien préparer leur dossier d'inscription, de parvenir avec de bons résultats à corriger le déséquilibre de la liste du patrimoine mondial et notamment la sous-représentation du patrimoine africain. Nous soutenons enfin l'idée de partenariat que le Centre du patrimoine et les organisations consultatives pourraient établir avec les centres de catégorie 2 dans le cadre du processus en amont pour les conseils et le renforcement des capacités aux États partis. Tout en soutenant le projet de décision 42-9A, nous avons proposé un léger amendement. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Now I give Tunisia the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. La Tunisie félicite le groupe de travail pour cet excellent rapport sur le processus en amont. La Tunisie a eu déjà la possibilité, l'occasion d'expérimenter ce processus pour un certain nombre de ces biens naturels inscrits sur sa liste indicative et c'était avec des résultats positifs. Elle a cherché également à le faire pour un bien culturel, mais malheureusement, cela n'a pas été possible. La Tunisie considère ce processus comme une sorte de recette miracle, ou du moins une bonne recette pour gagner du temps et de l'argent, pour atténuer les incompréhensions entre les organisations consultatives et les États parties et développer le dialogue entre elles, pour améliorer la mise en œuvre de la Convention durant tout son processus. Et l'idéal serait d'étendre ce concept, le processus à tout le processus de la mise en œuvre de la Convention dans les États parties. Bien évidemment, les recettes financières, les ressources financières et les possibilités humaines étant très réduites, cela pour le moment, malheureusement, n'est pas possible. En attendant, la Tunisie appuie l'amendement proposé par la Tanzanie qui demande à privilégier les États parties qui n'ont pas encore de biens inscrits sur la liste du patrimoine mondial, en attendant une réflexion globale et approfondie sur tout le processus de l'inscription sur la liste du patrimoine mondial. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comment? So we will move to the item 12A in order to adopt the four decision. There is a request. Can you see? Yeah, IUCN, please. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to deliver on behalf of the three advisory bodies an intervention. This is in the context of item 12A, but cutting across the other items as presented. The advisory bodies have listened with great interest to the discussions over recent days and welcome proposals for improving World Heritage processes. The advisory bodies share a long-term commitment to the ideals of the World Heritage Convention and also share the collective responsibility for its integrity. We hold long-term institutional memory, which can make a valuable contribution on points of consistency and precedent. We also provide the global perspective that is essential for a convention based on outstanding universal value. The World Heritage Convention has greatly expanded in scope and complexity over the last decade. The advisory bodies have responded to this by undertaking evolutionary reforms to our working methods, policies and practices so as to be more efficient, effective, transparent and consultative. We will continue to do so and to explore more substantial reforms where these are needed. We recall, for example, that the evaluation process was completely revised in consultation with the ad hoc working group and the committee when the operational guidelines were revised at the 39th session of the committee in Bonn in 2015. We have strongly demonstrated our commitment to dialogue within the finite time limits imposed by the current calendar in the operational guidelines. Dialogue between states parties and the advisory bodies has greatly increased between recent committee sessions. We value this new way of working as an important step forward. We see that when we work collaboratively with states parties, the results are almost always beneficial for us all. The advisory bodies are fully committed to working to support the ad hoc working group's proposals concerning the development of a resource mobilisation and communication plan, as this should indeed be the context to understand the overall resourcing needs of the convention and thus find economies which do not compromise quality. In closing, IUCN, ICOMOS and ICROM believe that we have much to contribute to these essential change processes which are central to the health of the convention. We look forward to our collaboration with all parties to continue supporting the convention with high-quality, global, independent and expert advice. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to say Zimbabwe supports the proposal by Tanzania to include the priority to be given to countries that have no properties on the list. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? Okay. So we'll move to the item 12A. 12A. You will remember that we have opened the item. We have opened item 12A last Monday, and that we listened to the report by the two co-chairs of the group. As you will remember, also we decided to leave this item open to allow for future consultation and to allow for several questions to be discussed during the working group on the budget. I now give the floor to Mrs. Toshoforva to present this matter. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just a little clarification about the approach and the process, which was explained by the delegation of Bahrain as chair of the ad hoc group. You know that the group had produced a report which included a list of recommendations and the draft decision. The item was presented at the time of opening of this committee last Monday on the 25th. And basically there has been many of the paragraphs of the draft decision and of the recommendation have been addressed and discussed by the budget group, and there has been a general agreement about dispatching different elements in the respective decisions and items. In this regard, many parts of what used to be 12A are already included in 13 about international assistance, in 9A about upstream process, and in the budget decision. Therefore, the delegation of Bahrain had submitted an amended, a revised decision which takes account of these paragraphs which have been moved elsewhere, and it actually contains several elements concerning the mandate of the group for the next year. Meanwhile, I believe there have been other amendments submitted by other committee members. So you may wish to have a look at the decision, the way it looks right now, because there have been quite a lot of changes introduced. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we see the decision on the screens? I will give you the floor, please. Australia, you have the floor.
Madam Chairperson, I want to speak to the amendments, but if it works for you, we're happy to speak once we come in sequence to those that Australia has proposed.
Thank you very much. China, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, China extends its sincere gratitude to both Bahrain and Azerbaijan for their excellent work in the co-chairing the ad hoc working group. As stated in my previous intervention this morning, and with the aim to ensure a more credible and balanced World Heritage List, China is in the opinion that both the nomination and evaluation process should be improved, and the dialogue between state parties and advisory bodies should be reinforced. In this regard, China thanks the distinguished representative of Australia for the submission of the amendments of the draft decision as distributed to all the committee members, which acknowledge the current fruitful outcome of the ad hoc working group and point out at the same time the need for reform in the near future for both the nomination and evaluation process through a reflection meeting to examine different possibilities for reforming the nomination process and propose more constructive recommendations as it reads in paragraph 16. In this sense, and with the view to keep the consistency of the content and relations of these new paragraphs, China would like to support Australia's amendments draft decision in principle, but to propose two slight amendments to the new paragraphs when we examine the draft decision paragraph by paragraph. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Norway, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me also first thank the Bahraini and Azerbaijani hosting of and clear and pleasant chairing of the work of the ad hoc working group. Sorry to be a bit unclear there. Now, after the third year of this ad hoc working group, we wonder if it's still ad hoc or is it something else? We note with concern that perhaps half of the members do not have the opportunity to take part in these sessions, and most countries cannot participate with experts. So this is not an optimal situation. Some reflections and debates were brought to an end by the ad hoc working group that there are still a number of fundamental questions to be further reflected on, questions that are in the center of issues linked to the credibility and viability of the Convention and the World Heritage List. The findings of the IOS recommendations that was much the base of the discussions focused on efficiency and cost savings as given by the mandate of the evaluation of IOS. Quality, credibility, neutrality, transparency of processes were not. As Norway has underlined earlier, the committee must seek more fundamental and long-term solutions to solve their budget and economic problems, both for the fund as well for a credible, balanced and representative list. Norway strongly supports the view that looking at the nomination process is a key. We also believe that an inclusive, transparent and structured approach is necessary for reaching a quantitatively and common result. A result that answers the concerns that have been expressed in the debates during this committee session. Bringing in all states parties in a way where they can participate and experts representing all parts of the world or different parts of the world, the Secretariat as well as the advisory bodies in a more focused and simple process. The Australian and Norwegian amendment, which Australia will present, I'm sure, is proposed to achieve exactly that. And we hope for your support in this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Zimbabwe supports the draft amendment that has been proposed by Australia and Norway, but would like to just clarify a few points once we get to the point paragraph by paragraph section, because I think some of the sentiments that I'm hearing from the distinguished delegate from Norway do not really appear in the draft amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Nosotros compartimos algunas de las preocupaciones ya expresadas por la delegación de Noruega y también es por la eternización de este grupo de trabajo, que vemos que renovamos su mandato una y otra vez, y deja fuera en ocasiones también la participación de los expertos que no pueden viajar a París para esto. Yo sé bien que todas las delegaciones estamos representados por nuestras delegaciones permanentes, pero quizás habría que explorar alguna alternativa de que una de esas reuniones se hiciera previo a la reunión del comité, un día antes de la reunión del comité, como ha estado pasando también y como han hecho otros órganos de la UNESCO. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Tunisia, please.
Madame la Présidente, la Tunisie voudrait remercier l'Australie et la Norvège d'avoir proposé cet amendement que nous soutenons à la fois dans sa forme, sa formulation et surtout son esprit. Nous le soutenons très fortement.
Thank you very much. Now, before we go through one by one from this 4 decisions, I will, after your permission, we will start with this one first as requested by the reporter. That means we'll start by 12A first, and then we'll go back to the other. So I give the floor now to the reporter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And as we have heard during this discussion, we have received amendments to this draft decision, and there was general support for these amendments submitted by Australia and Norway. If we could scroll down a little bit on the screen, these would introduce a series of new paragraphs, as we have already heard. And if I may make a small suggestion to you, Madam Chair, maybe paragraph 14, if we could scroll further down. Since this paragraph has been introduced in a different draft decision, we can maybe strike it out from this one. And I believe that the distinguished delegate of Australia wished to introduce his amendments. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I give Cuba the floor. No? No? Okay. So, Australia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. So firstly, I want to say how delighted Australia is that the suggestion that we have added to the agenda of the committee next year, and we hope every year thereafter, a general item 8 where we have the opportunity to discuss exactly those things that we are talking about today. The committee's decision to establish a general item 8 will enable us to work through how the committee can improve and strengthen the nomination process in all its aspects, from the submission of dossiers through to their evaluation and, very importantly, the dialogue between states parties and the advisory bodies. It will allow us to consider important matters such as the proposal from ICOMOS to extend the nomination evaluation process by 12 months, as an example. We believe it is very important to lay a sound foundation for the discussion by the committee at the 43rd session, hence this proposal. We have proposed that the Centre should convene a reflection meeting before the end of this year to examine possibilities for improving the nomination process. Our proposal is that a panel of experts, including committee members from all regional groups, the Centre, advisory bodies and other experts would participate in this reflection meeting, that it would produce a report that would be considered by the ad hoc working group and subsequently the ad hoc working group would provide it and the ad hoc working group's own advice to the committee for consideration. This would see us all well prepared for a productive dialogue on reform options next year, feeding ultimately into revisions of the operational guidelines if the committee concludes that that is what is necessary. These things don't happen without support financially being provided to enable these activities to occur. So I do wish to indicate now that Australia has identified an amount of 135,000 Australian dollars, which we will put towards the conduct of this process, and we would like to encourage other states parties to join us as co-sponsors of this proposal. And then lastly, in relation to the amendments themselves, I think that elements 11 through to 14 are really now all made redundant by the decision taken by the committee earlier in the day. So I would suggest that 11 through to 14 should all be deleted, and look very much forward to seeing China's suggestions for further amendments. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate Australia initiative, and I hope that it is the first initiative and somebody else will join them. Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? Give the floor to Zimbabwe now, please. Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also would like to thank the Government of Australia for coming forward to support this process, which I think is very, very important. I think we've all agreed it's important that we do this review. I would like to ask the rapporteur to go to the first paragraph of the Australian-Norwegian recommendations, where you're talking about a working group. They want to say before December, by December 20, sorry. Is it paragraph 8 now? Yeah, a meeting, no, that's not the one. It's the one above, where there is the reflection from a panel of experts, including committee members, from all regional groups, World Heritage Center, advisory bodies, and other experts. I just wanted to check whether a panel of experts is separate from other experts. And if there is a panel of experts, could it be a representative panel of experts? That's all I wanted to check.
Thank you very much. Australia again. Australia, you have the floor.
Just two things. Firstly, in suggesting which paragraphs to delete, I've inadvertently deleted one that needs to stay, which is paragraph 11. So sorry, I was working off an earlier draft. In response to the question from the distinguished representative of Zimbabwe, I think she is right to, if we can just go back up to that paragraph, to make the observation that experts are experts, and what we were trying to convey there was that we wanted the expertise that was available for this process to be drawn from sources that go beyond just states, parties and members of the committee and the advisory bodies, so an openness to there being other experts who could contribute. So I'd be very comfortable for the "and other experts" to be deleted if that makes it simpler, but the intention there was really to keep it open, so the preference is to retain it. No, please don't. I don't want to delete it. I'm just explaining the rationale that we, having heard the discussion over the last 10 days in the committee meeting, that there's expertise beyond the advisory bodies. We wanted to open this process to experts from outside of the World Heritage advisory system.
Thank you very much. China.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. As explained just now, China would like to make a very slight amendment to the current paragraph 8. Since the reflection meeting to be organized will examine different possibilities for reforming the nomination process, I think here we should add the evaluation process too, in the spirit of keep the consistency with the paragraph 7, that the need for reform of the nomination and evaluation process. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Tunisia, please, you have the floor.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais moi-même revenir à cet article 8 et si vous me permettez, je me proposerai de décaler la période de décembre 2018 à mars 2019, puisque de toutes les manières, ces décisions et ces propositions attendront la prochaine session d'être mises en œuvre. Mais pour une raison qui me fait plaisir et qui est très subjective, c'est que si nous faisons ainsi, la Tunisie prend option pour accueillir cette rencontre et on sera ravis qu'en terre tunisienne, on fera avancer notre maison commune.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? Zimbabwe, please.
Madam Chair, the rapporteur did not include my suggestion of a representative panel of experts.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, Australia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would certainly support the suggested addition from the distinguished representative of Zimbabwe. But just while we're on that point, where it says now representative panel of experts, perhaps we can say drawn from rather than including. And then I think it's clearer then that it's committee members from all regional groups, the World Heritage Centre Advisory Body and other experts, and I think that works better. In terms of the proposal from the distinguished representative of Tunisia, we are comfortable with the proposed alternative date, but note that if it is left until then to hold that workshop, it will mean that there may be some constraints on the ability of the ad hoc working group to actually take note of and discuss the report. But in principle, we have no difficulty with the suggestion from the representative of Tunisia and would welcome their offer of hosting, of course.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? Okay. So the reporter, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So after the discussion, we have included the amendments that were proposed. So we can see now integrated in paragraph 7, a representative panel of experts drawn from committee members. And as for paragraph 8, we had a proposal to change the date by which this reflection meeting should be organized. And I do believe here we might have a little question on whether March 2019 would be too late for the outcome of this meeting for the ad hoc working group to take place. So, Madam Chair, through you, we might request from the committee whether they do agree with this proposed change. Thank you.
Thank you. Norway, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sorry to take the floor again after you have started with the further discussions, but even though we are very pleased with the proposal from Tunisia, we would like to draw your attention to the fact that if we have it as late as in March 2019, there is very little possibility for the ad hoc working group to meet for once and have a proper discussion and have recommendations for the next committee meeting session. And we think that this is sort of a three-element process, and I think all three elements should be very clear in that process so that everybody participates timely for us to prepare the documents for the next committee session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tunisia, please.
Madame la Présidente, la Tunisie est très heureuse de l'accueil qui a été fait de notre proposition. Alors quand j'ai proposé mars, je n'entendais pas exactement la tenir en mars, mais je croyais que la technique rédactionnelle dans ce genre de texte fonctionnait de 3 mois à 6 mois à 1 année. Mais au fond, avoir le calendrier, nous envisagerions, et je compte sur les traducteurs sur la question de la conjugaison, nous envisagerions de le tenir fin janvier 2019.
Thank you very much. Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Yo regreso al párrafo 7 porque nos preocupa que sea un grupo de trabajo cerrado. Debe estar claro que es un grupo de trabajo ad hoc, pero abierto. Si hay otros miembros que quieren participar, creo que sería pertinente. Hoy trabajamos así en la UNESCO, con grupos de trabajo abiertos. Si no, sería complicado cuando vendrían esas recomendaciones al comité. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Spain, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias. Hasta ahora no había intervenido para no alargar los debates. Nosotros apoyamos la propuesta de Noruega y coincidimos en que lo ideal sería que en el grupo de trabajo ad hoc, que tiene que, en nuestra opinión, debe ser restringido, aunque hacemos reuniones abiertas para la participación de otros miembros, y eso genera una eficacia del trabajo del mismo. Los resultados de los informes se comparten y se conocen entre todas las delegaciones. Por lo tanto, a mí me gustaría que se abriera que se abriera esa reunión propuesta por Australia a expertos de las distintas regiones y que luego geográficas y que luego nos informaran a los demás. Insistir en abrir que todos los grupos de trabajo a todos los estados partes, yo creo que puede restringir, limitar un poco nuestro trabajo, puesto que luego siempre hay varias posibilidades de debatirlo ampliamente con el resto de los países parte de la Convención.
Thank you. Australia, okay, thank you. The reporter, you have the floor. No? Okay.
Thank you.
Kuba,
Thank you very
floor.
much, Madam Chair, and I apologize for this. Sorry.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Es que nos gustaría ver en la propuesta del párrafo 7 un grupo ad hoc de composición abierta. Muchas gracias.
Spain, please.
No quiero retrasar el debate, pero hemos insistido en que el grupo de trabajo hasta ahora ha funcionado perfectamente, se ha abierto a representantes de distintos grupos geográficos propuestos y nosotros no queremos que sea de composición totalmente abierta porque sería muy difícil de manejar. Preferimos que haya una representación geográfica como tiene este comité. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. You are ready? Thank you. Thank you, the reporter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So right now we have several matters at hand that we are discussing. First of all, for paragraph 7, we have the request from Cuba that the ad hoc working group should be an open-ended ad hoc working group, which will now be reflected on the screen, and we heard Spain instead opting for the previous form of the ad hoc working group. If this could be of any help, I would just like to note, if we scroll a little bit further down, that there's, and this is maybe a question, Madam Chair, that to you I would pose to the authors of the amendments, because paragraph 10 reads, request the Secretariat to consult with states, parties and other relevant stakeholders of the Convention on the matters addressed in paragraph 14 of this decision in view of the preparation of the reflection meeting. First of all, I think that's not supposed to be paragraph 14, but it's supposed to be rather new paragraph 5. And we're going to scroll up to show it, because maybe this paragraph could bridge this difference of views about the ad hoc working group, since there's a request for the Secretariat to have consultations. And yes, and then you see new paragraph 5 is the paragraph that gives the mandate of the working group. So in my reading, actually that paragraph, the paragraph down below would actually suggest that this ad hoc working group might have open-ended sessions. So, Madam Chair, to you, I request from the committee to see which way they wish to go with the composition of the ad hoc working group. Thank you.
Thank you. Australia, please.
Yes, the rapporteur has correctly pointed out the intention of the paragraph that she identified. So we thought it was important that the thoughts and views of all states parties were able to be drawn upon by the expert working group. Hence the suggestion that the centre should consult with states parties, and logically to us that could be done online or through a submission process, and that would provide the views of all states parties who wanted to contribute to the reflection workshop so that they can be considered. I also hear the point that the distinguished representative of Cuba is making, and I wonder whether in light of that observation, whether in paragraph 7, rather than saying drawn from committee members, we could say drawn from the ad hoc working group, which comprises both committee members. So just say the ad hoc working group, and then delete the committee members from all regional groups, because of course the ad hoc working group comprises both all the committee members and also representatives from each of the regional groups, and that would ensure that there was the possibility of a wider representation of states parties at the reflection, without making it so big that it became unmanageable.
Thank you very much. Spain, please, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias por las aclaraciones. Efectivamente, hemos pasado de un ad hoc working group, que era de un grupo pequeño de los miembros del comité, a un ad hoc working group que eran formado por todos los miembros del comité, y ahora se han incluido en el último ad hoc working group representantes de las distintas regiones geográficas, con lo cual, con las precisiones que ha hecho el delegado de Australia, creo que queda bastante reflejada esa representatividad, y además se han celebrado sesiones abiertas a todos los Estados partes durante este año. Muchísimas gracias. Con lo cual preferiríamos que figurara como ad hoc working group para no generar confusiones. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias, señora Presidente. Yo realmente no logro entender la intención de limitar esta participación, porque de hecho así trabajamos en la UNESCO hoy. Incluso puede haber una representación geográfica por grupo, pero las reuniones son abiertas, independientemente pasa por la voluntad de los estados. O sea, no entiendo realmente esa necesidad de limitar la participación sobre un tema que nos interesa a todos, y que en la medida en que todos participemos más activamente durante todo el proceso, llegaremos en mejores condiciones, pero sabemos que hay muchos que prefieren limitar la toma de decisiones a un grupo más pequeño. Yo creo que lo importante es que en esa esencia de esa propuesta de Australia conciliadora es que tiene que haber una representación geográfica equitativa. No sé si quedará en su acta, no sé si quedará en el espíritu de ese párrafo, pero nos parece que la propuesta de Zimbabue era de toda obviedad de que tiene que haber una distribución geográfica equitativa, como mismo es nuestro comité, que tiene una distribución geográfica equitativa. De todas formas, yo no voy a hacerla perder más tiempo, Presidenta, pero realmente no entendemos esa necesidad de algunos países de limitar la participación de los miembros del comité de manera amplia en este trabajo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please, you have the floor.
Madam Chair, just to ask maybe guidance from the rapporteur and the sponsors of the draft amendment. If we moved paragraph 10 further up before we talk about the working group and all that, would it help to show that the center has to consult all state parties first and then go down to the ad hoc working group?
Tunisia, please, you have the floor. Thank you very much, Zimbabwe. Tunisia, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je crois que nous pataugeons un peu dans notre propre succès. Alors, tout le monde est d'accord de la nécessité d'organiser pareille réflexion. Tout le monde est d'accord qu'entre les deux sessions, il doit y avoir une réflexion sereine, stratégique et d'avenir. Je crois qu'on devrait avoir toutes les volontés de notre côté. C'est une question d'architecture de la réunion elle-même. Donc, on pourrait envisager, dans le lieu où se tiendrait cette réunion, une réunion des experts des États membres du comité, une réunion ouverte aux autres, après tout, ils sont membres de la Convention, et après, une réunion qui ferait convergence, puisque les autres auront intérêt à ce que les États membres du comité mettent en œuvre leurs recommandations à la 43e session. C'est une question d'opportunité d'organisation plus que de rédaction de ce paragraphe. Je suis d'avis qu'on le laisse ouvert et dans le cadre de l'organisation, on précisera tout cela. Mais c'est tant mieux qu'il y ait autant d'engouement pour participer à cette réunion si importante.
Thank you very much. Brazil, the last speaker, please. And you see, there is a consensus. We understand that this work is for all the committee. Please, we don't want to waste time. Everybody are agreed that this committee is doing very good, and anybody maybe within the text, you can join them. I don't know whether if I say something not correct. Please, Brazil.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I will be very brief. I would just call the attention of the distinguished colleagues that what is more important in this working group is that it is efficient. I ask myself if having an open-ended group with a participation of I don't know how many people we can reach efficiency. I believe that representation is already assured by the regional groups, and regional groups could consult and try to convey the views of the different countries in their regional groups to the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I the floor to the reporter to finalize the draft resolution, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So after the discussion, there seems to be a preference to keep the ad hoc working group functioning in the current way as it is right now. As such, I'm going to, with your permission, because paragraph 7 looks very complicated right now, I'm going to read out paragraph 7 that talks about this ad hoc working group as it is. Noting the ad hoc working group identified the need for reform of the nomination and evaluation process and considers this would benefit from further reflection from a representative panel of experts drawn from the ad hoc working group, the World Heritage Center, and advisory bodies and other experts to feed into the work of the ad hoc working group. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Is there any objection? Shall we adopt this paragraph? Thank you. It is adopted. Please go one by one.
Thank you. Then paragraph 8, where we come back to the question we heard before regarding the dates proposed for this reflection group. So the question is whether this meeting should be organized by December 2018 or March 2019. And during the discussions, we have heard opinions on both sides. So, Madam Chair, through you, we might request from the distinguished members of the committee which deadline for the organization they wish to see in this paragraph. Thank you.
Would you like to keep it as it is now, or you want to change it to the March? Please, Australia, please, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just as the original proposer, we're happy with the suggested change from Tunisia, and really it's, we said the 1st of March is the deadline, and the distinguished delegate of Tunisia has said that they'll aim to run it in late January, and that is good from our point of view, so we don't need, in our view, to debate the date.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then in that case, I will read out the paragraph. Request in this regard the World Heritage Center to organize by March 2019 a reflection meeting to examine different possibilities for reforming the nomination and evaluation process and propose recommendations for consideration by the World Heritage Committee in view of increasing the balance and credibility of the World Heritage List as outlined in document 42com/12A. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is adopted.
Paragraph 9 would read, calls upon interested states parties to contribute extra budgetary funds towards the organization of the reflection meeting.
No objection? Okay, it is adopted. Go further, please.
Then the next one, paragraph 10 would read, request the Secretariat to consult with states parties and other relevant stakeholders of the Convention on the matters addressed in paragraph 5 of this decision in view of the preparation of the reflection meeting.
Zimbabwe, please have the floor.
Madam Chair, the reflection meeting has already passed, and my suggestion was that this paragraph goes way up before the reflection meeting itself.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I may, through you...
just give the floor to Australia, please. Australia.
Thank you, Chair. I think we're sort of struggling with the dated drafting, so because paragraphs have moved around. So I'm going to suggest an amendment here that I think will make things much clearer for all. So at the moment, it says, if it was to read, request the Secretariat to consult with states parties and other relevant stakeholders of the Convention on the matters that should be addressed at the reflection meeting. So it's absolutely clear that this is to occur before the reflection meeting. And I think that will address the concern that's being expressed by the distinguished representative of Zimbabwe.
Cuba, please, you have the floor.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Eso quiere decir que mediante una consulta online, me imagino, estaremos definiendo los temas que va a tratar este grupo. Quería preguntarle eso a Australia porque si no va a ser bien complejo. Y en todo caso la consulta sería previo, pero sería después de los resultados también de este grupo. Me gustaría, por favor, que me aclararan esto antes de pasar a la adopción de la decisión.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
So the intention is to seek the input of all states parties before the reflection meeting is held, so that they can be considered. That was the intention.
Thank you very much. Do you agree to keep it as it is? Right now? Do you agree? No objection? Zimbabwe, no objection? Okay. So it is agreed. So it is so adopted. Please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And the last paragraph would read, further request the ad hoc working group review the reflection meeting report and recommendations and submit these together with the advice of the ad hoc working group to the 43rd session of the committee with a view to revising the operational guidelines.
Can we adopt it? Is there any objection? Okay. It's so adopted. With this, you have adopted 12A, and we will now start from the beginning. That means 13. Now, decision 42, 13, and we'll go down.
Uganda wanted to say something.
So we will start with 13, please. Reporter, 13.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As we have the decision on the screen, you can see the outcome of the working group that is now integrated into this draft decision. Thank you very much.
Can you read it, please, paragraph by paragraph, to save our time, please?
I don't think she needs to read all the paragraphs.
Huh? Is there any amendments?
No, Madam Chair, we only have the, as I have stated, the working group's recommendations incorporated into this draft decision. Thank you.
Is this agreeable to her? Is there any comments or objections? Because we did not read it. So we assume that you accept it. So it is so adopted. Okay. Now we go to the decision 42-14.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On draft decision 14, I have received amendments from the delegation of Spain. If we could scroll down to paragraph 9. Yes, thank you. So you will see the amendments touch two paragraphs. For paragraph 9, it would add a small clause that wasn't there before, and it suggests the deletion of paragraph 10. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Spain, please, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Antes no tomé la palabra para intentar ir con cierta rapidez. La razón detrás de estas enmiendas es un poco responder a la preocupación de la falta de la grave situación financiera que tiene el fondo y también a muchos de los comentarios que se han hecho en este comité respecto a las necesidades para reforzar las asistencias técnicas, las capacidades, y en ese sentido entendemos perfectamente el párrafo 8 que necesita atender a los riesgos, entendemos el margen que se nos pide en el párrafo 9, pero sí que querríamos que quedara más limitado a esa preocupación que hemos manifestado que se ha manifestado por muchas delegaciones sobre los problemas que hay en la capacitación y en los programas regionales. De ahí nuestra propuesta de ese añadido. También querría señalar que respecto a la supresión del párrafo 10, porque nosotros creemos que todos los fondos que se puedan utilizar, tanto los fondos que no han sido utilizados como sobre todo para estas líneas en el presupuesto. No hemos pedido la supresión, pero sí quisiera hacer un comentario sobre el tema del Management Cost Rate del 0%, puesto que hay una cierta contradicción con lo que se acuerda en el Consejo Ejecutivo. Y aunque podría entenderse por la especificidad de esta convención, pero tenemos que ser conscientes que estamos yendo en una línea contraria de lo que estamos decidiendo a otro nivel en el Consejo Ejecutivo. Y quisiera señalarlo por mi doble sombrero de presidenta de la Comisión Financiera de ese Consejo. Quiero además aprovechar la oportunidad para reiterar la importancia, como se hace en otros párrafos, de atender al pago de las obligaciones voluntarias. También cuando tratemos los presupuestos en el Consejo Ejecutivo, a que se haga un mayor apoyo al sector de la cultura, al Centro de Patrimonio, que estamos viendo que tiene muchas dificultades, y que los argumentos que tenemos en este comité también los traslademos al Consejo Ejecutivo a la hora de elaborar el presupuesto del próximo bienio. Muchísimas gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you very much. Tunisia, you have the floor.
Merci Madame la Présidente. La Tunisie, par cette intervention, entend appuyer fortement la proposition de l'Espagne qui, en fin de compte, vient à la fin de nos travaux concrétiser de manière pratique tout ce que nous avons dit, c'est-à-dire notre constat d'écart par rapport aux situations géographiques, d'écart par rapport aux compétences techniques et la faiblesse des moyens de tout notre système. Et que donc la première proposition d'amendement du paragraphe 9, où on précise qu'ils doivent être dédiés uniquement aux lignes budgétaires relatives au renforcement des capacités et aux programmes régionaux et tout ce qu'il y a de plus salutaire. Et en conséquence de cela, l'article 10 ne peut tenir ni techniquement ni moralement. La Tunisie appuie totalement les deux propositions de l'Espagne.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Zimbabwe also supports the proposal by Spain and in particular the importance of outlining where this money should be focused on capacity building and regional programs, which I think addresses the key concerns of the members of the committee. And in view of this, we therefore think and agree that paragraph 10 is now redundant.
Thank you very much. Cuba, please.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Nosotros también deseamos apoyar las enmiendas hechas por España. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Kuwait, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We also would like to join Tunisia and Zimbabwe and Cuba for supporting the Spain suggestion amendment submitted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other suggestion or comments? Thank you very much. Porter, you have to just insert the...
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. We heard support from those who spoke for the amendments presented by Spain. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You want to speak? Please, you have the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. J'ai demandé la parole pour essayer d'expliquer un petit peu qu'est-ce qu'il y a derrière le point 9, paragraphe 9. Comme vous savez, jusqu'à maintenant, on fonctionne avec une flexibilité qui est de 10% pour chaque ligne budgétaire, jusqu'à maintenant. Donc, quel est l'objectif derrière cela? C'est que, évidemment, on prépare les prévisions de dépenses, etc., 2 ou 3 années à l'avance. Mais quand on arrive à la mise en œuvre, évidemment, le plan prévu ne correspond pas à la réalité. Donc, nous avons besoin à chaque fois d'avoir une petite flexibilité pour essayer de transférer des fonds de l'une budgétaire à l'autre, bien sûr, tout en restant dans le cadre qui est fixé par le comité. Jusqu'à maintenant, nous avons 10%, et malgré cela, il reste des fonds non utilisés. Pour le biennium passé 2016-2017, nous avions un montant non utilisé de 200 et quelques mille. C'est le chiffre exact, parce qu'une fois qu'on atteint 10% de la ligne, on ne peut rien faire, alors qu'on a un besoin vital ailleurs. Et donc, on est limité par cela. Mais si, moi je comprends parfaitement ce que l'Espagne et les autres États membres du comité ont proposé, mais si vous adoptez le paragraphe 9 tel qu'il est, on va faire une marche arrière, on va se retrouver avec des fonds non utilisés sur certaines lignes, et le taux de mise en œuvre ne serait pas à 97% comme le cas maintenant, serait à 90%, voire moins. Et je ne pense pas que c'est très, on va dire, efficace de gérer de cette manière. De toutes les manières, on va vous rendre rapport, on va vous donner tous les comptes, on est audité régulièrement, mais cette flexibilité, on en a besoin pour qu'on puisse mettre en œuvre efficacement vos décisions. Merci.
Thank you very much. Is there any comment? Australia, please.
Yes, I just wanted to ask a question to get some clarification. And while I well appreciate the intent of the amendment, the thing that I just wanting to understand is, for example, the committee's made a number of decisions this year to refer dossiers rather than to defer dossiers or to not inscribe, and that has created, I think, additional work that needs to be undertaken by the centre and by the advisory bodies over the coming 12 months. So what I wanted to understand is whether it's the flexibility that's embedded in this recommendation 9 or clause 9 that prospectively the centre would need to be using in order to fund the additional work that the committee has asked to be undertaken.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? Okay, the reporter, you have to just show us the amendment, please.
Thank you very much for this question to Australia. As you know, our budgets are being adopted with a list of budget lines and activities under these budget lines. Basically, there are very few lines, and most of them concern state of conservation, advisory missions, reactive monitoring missions, a retrospective inventory, capacity building, periodic reporting, and some regional programs. And in addition, we have the advisory bodies' different budgets for the activities. So if some, it would depend very much whether some of the additional work that has been requested by the committee falls within some of the budget lines of the approved budget. Only in this case it can be done or included under this budget. Otherwise, we'll need to raise extra budgetary funds for additional activities, given that the regular program is very, very tight, as you know, and most of it is dedicated to the statutory activities, organization of the meetings and production of documents. I also just wanted to make a little comment concerning the proposal in paragraph 9 concerning the budget lines related to capacity building and regional programs. I'm sorry that I don't have in front of me our approved budget by you, the committee, for the biennium to 2018-2019, but I believe I remember well the figures. And on the budget line capacity building, we have only $50,000 for, and that's all that we have. And basically that goes for the education program, that is for our young people program, which is absolutely insufficient, but that's all what we have. Under the regional programs in the expenditure plan, to be honest, my colleagues have the budget, but I don't think we have more than $100 and so dollars for all the regions, and most of them are for Africa, and other regions practically have very, very little. So these are two budget lines which have extremely little funding foreseen, and in this sense, as my colleague, our administrative officer just mentioned, we'll make a big step back if we limit the flexibility to these lines, given the very low amounts in these lines. I'll just reiterate the need for flexibility, because this year we had $224,000 which remained unspent at the end of 2017, while we had serious needs for some activities approved in the budget, while we had remaining amounts on the other budget lines where the expenditure of the amounts depends on the requests from states parties. So we had a budget line on advisory missions where it was not spent totally, completely, because there were not a sufficient number of requests, and at the same time we needed funding of other activities for which we didn't have funds. So this is actually the need for really being more efficient. This is a request to allow us to be more efficient, to spend our money better, to spend our money in line with what you have approved last year for the budget of 2018-19, so that we have not only a better expenditure rate, because that probably sounds very bureaucratic if it's said like this, but it's to better implement the activities foreseen in this budget in the interest of the convention. Because sometimes we don't even have enough funds, very often, for international assistance. And even if we have remaining funds under one line, we don't have the possibility to transfer them to international assistance. I hope this gives a reply to the Honourable Delegate of Australia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
thank you very much, Madam Chair. Just to confirm, I would be really worried that the implementation rate would go down. And in addition, I would also share with you one of my main concerns prior coming to this committee meeting. We had 35,000 to support experts from committee members to come to this meeting. With a little bit of flexibility, I could have helped other countries. This is not possible. We had to do, even for one committee member, last-minute fundraising to ensure that this committee member would be represented. So I wanted to share this concern with you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bahrain, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. While understanding and appreciating the financial difficulties the World Heritage Center is going through, but I must add that in view of the increased needs for capacity building for state parties who suffered and continue to suffer from consequences of natural and military conflicts, and the need to strengthen the capacity of the professionals and practitioners in various regions, we think that it is vitally important that some funds are allocated for them, and it should be kept for regional needs and for capacity building and be identified as such. And I don't know how this works in terms of the internal financial systems that you have, but I feel that we have been discussing a lot of problems that we are facing in, when problems after the conflict or something unfolds, we are lost for where do we start and who will start, and then it's only firefighting. So I think a small percentage of the fund that is allocated and confirmed for the building capacity for regional areas and for specific problems should be maintained, and therefore Bahrain agrees with Spain, Tunisia, and other state parties who supported Spain's initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Zimbabwe, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The distinguished delegate from Bahrain has just spoken for me. I just want to request that to find out what is the way that we can, in fact, avail the available resources to capacity building regional programs, and also to enable the director to implement assistance programs like she was talking about. What mechanism do we need? Because I think we are all agreed on capacity building and regional programs. What is the financial mechanism that enables that to happen?
Thank you very much. And yes, you can answer the question, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Very quickly, we had a question from Bahrain. How can capacity building budget be increased? Well, if this amendment is adopted, we cannot increase absolutely anything. But, on our side, what we can do, however, is to look into the budget for the next biennium, when the budget, no matter how much restricted it is and how small it is, it is taken on board. Thank you very much. At this very time, this is the budget which has already been adopted and approved and is being implemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Norway, please. Norway, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I understood you correctly, because I'm a bit doubtful now, is this change that we made to the amendment, does it mean that the only budget lines we can move or do something about are the capacity building and regional program budget lines, which means that those very small amounts of money, they can be removed and put into other activities? If that is so, because this was a bit unclear, we would not have that dedicated as those budget lines that you could change into other activities, because capacity building and regional programs are very important, and it would be better to have a flexibility between the activities that concerns the protection and conservation, and also nomination and evaluation processes. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question, which allows us to say that, yes, that would mean that. It would mean that it would be limited to this very, just to capacity building and regional programs, which is a very small amount. And there would be no possibility to have a flexibility among other activities and the other budget lines, such as, for us, it's extremely important, the international assistance, the danger sites budget line, that is special assistance for danger sites, advisory missions with the upcoming upstream requests. So this is actually taking away the current flexibility that we have, which is small, but still there is some flexibility. Yeah, that's the answer to your question. Thank you very much.
Mr. Baratli, please, you have the floor.
Thanks so much. If I may just, as a follow-up to what was just asked by a colleague from Norway, if I recall right, during the discussion on this para, the idea was from where we can take money. I'm sorry for putting very simple. from which lines we can take money and just give a flexibility to take money. But here the intention of honorable delegates with this amendment is to bring money to these two budget lines. So now we have to figure out what are we discussing. It's about taking money. If that's the case, then it means here we even don't bring money to capacity building, but we enable director to take money from these budget lines, which have already very limited resources, as explained by Secretariat. I don't want to give a position, just to make clear about our intentions and discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Norway, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then it would be the Norwegian view that we should rather keep the paragraph as it was originally, so that we keep the money for capacity building in regional programs, and rather have flexibility between the other budget lines. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Spain, please.
Nuestra intención no era atar las manos de la Secretaría, sino focalizar los fondos no gastados en aquello que nos parecía o que había sido el sentimiento general en este comité. Yo no sé si entonces la referencia para, según ha dicho el presidente del grupo de trabajo sobre la financiación, si a lo mejor la adición tenía que venir después de Priorities and Decision of the Committee, señalando una voluntad de priorizar el refuerzo del Capacity Building and Regional Programs. O sea, cambiar, no lo sé, estoy un poco pensando en voz alta, si con eso logramos el que la flexibilidad necesaria de la Secretaría permita que los fondos puedan irse a esos sectores, y a lo mejor la frase estaría mejor incluida después de la referencia a during the second year of each biennium and in conformity with the priorities, focusing on prioritizing the budget lines relating to capacity building and regional programs. Es una manera, digamos, de dar el mensaje que ese 15% de margen pueda ir a estas dos áreas.
Thank you very much. Brazil, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With all the clarifications that were made in the debate, Brazil would favor Norway's position to keep the original and to take Spain's preoccupation into account in the lines that the ambassador just said, would be to withdraw the amendment from where it is and add the following. And in conformity with the priorities and decisions of the committee, giving priority to the budget lines related to capacity building and regional programs, and strike out the amendment where it was originally proposed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Tunisia, please, you have the floor.
Je ne vous cache pas que j'aurais aimé intervenir à quelques secondes avant. Je demandais la parole depuis quelque temps. Mais quoi qu'il en soit, je remercie d'abord les membres du centre qui nous ont éclairés, qui nous ont donné une vue réelle de leurs contraintes de gestion de tous les jours. Mais je crois, nonobstant les apparences, nous nous rejoignons parce que vous nous avez expliqué qu'il n'y avait pas suffisamment de moyens pour répondre aux priorités que nous pointons du doigt. Je crois que le premier constat de notre échange, c'est que donc nous sommes tous d'accord sur la suppression de l'article 10, qui devient fortuit de tout point de vue, et même des explications qui se dégagent des membres du comité. Maintenant, est-ce qu'on souligne, comme dans la première proposition espagnole appuyée par la Tunisie, le Zimbabwe, Cuba, Koweït et Bahreïn, où on va vers la priorité telle qu'elle est présentée par le Brésil? Je crois que c'est des accommodements d'écriture, mais l'idée est là. Le souci de flexibilité que vous nous avez dit, nous le comprenons. Mais je crois que si jamais on devrait l'écrire, on doit l'associer toujours aux finalités que le comité semble vouloir souligner dans cette décision.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We go along with the proposal by Brazil after the explanation from the chair of the...
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would also like to support the Brazil's amendment there. And with the removal of number 10, I would just want to ask the Centre whether that would have implications for the work that we've asked them to do.
Thank you very much. Cuba, please, you have the floor.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Agradecemos la propuesta de Brasil y justamente elimina una palabra que daba demasiado carácter vinculante a este párrafo y era únicamente lo que hacía más estricta su cumplimiento. Por tanto, nos parece que la enmienda de Brasil logra reflejar en el párrafo eso hacia donde queremos orientar las prioridades sin que sea exclusivamente a lo único que tendremos que tener en cuenta para esta flexibilidad. Muchas gracias. Apoyamos la enmienda de Brasil.
Thank you very much. I see that it seems that we are all in, we are agreed. I just give the floor to you, please, to give the answers.
Non, on est entre les membres du membre du comité, donc nous, on exécute vos décisions. L'idéal serait que de nous laisser le paragraphe tel qu'il est, mais si on peut vivre avec vos suggestions. Merci.
Thank you very much. You want to say something?
Next. Bon, si on revient à cet aspect, le paragraphe 10, en fait, c'est un sujet purement administratif. Pourquoi on a introduit ce paragraphe? Parce que durant les 2 dernières années, chaque fois que le secrétaire des centres me présente des contrats pour validation, j'éprouve des difficultés parfois pour valider parce que les modalités contractuelles de l'UNESCO sont assez complexes. Vous savez que parfois on a besoin de certaines expertises extérieures pour certains points, pour un temps très très limité. Et pour cela, on a recours essentiellement aux contrats de consultants. Mais les contrats de consultants deviennent de plus en plus un petit peu encadrés et parfois, il ne devient vraiment pas le contrat le plus approprié. Alors, il y a d'autres types de contrats comme le service contract, contrat de service, qui visent à peu près la même chose, sauf qu'il y a une souplesse pour l'établissement du contrat. Donc, pour les détenteurs de ce type de contrat, ils peuvent, par exemple, être présents dans nos bureaux pendant 2 ou 3 mois pour aider le secrétariat à développer certains aspects dont on n'a pas vraiment l'expertise. Donc, finalement, pour moi, c'est une simple formalité administrative. Je peux juste vous donner un chiffre. Pendant l'exercice 2016-2017, nous avons établi aux alentours de 164 000 de contrats de consultants. On n'a pas l'intention d'augmenter ce montant pour le prochain biennium. On vous demande juste de pouvoir utiliser à chaque fois le contrat le mieux indiqué pour éviter des recommandations d'éditeurs qui nous mettent un petit peu dans des difficultés, qu'on ne respecte pas les règles et procédures de l'UNESCO. Voilà, c'est une simple question administrative, pas plus.
Thank you very much. Do you have any comments or inquiries, or we go to the reporter to see the text, final wording for the text? Yes? Okay. Our reporter, please, you have to just show us on the screen the final draft.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So after the discussion, we have slightly amended paragraph 9. So now it would read, noting the management constraints of the World Heritage Fund also authorizes the Director of the World Heritage Center to make budgetary adjustments when necessary between approved headings and reserves without exceeding a maximum of 15% of the approved World Heritage Fund expenditure plan during the second year of each biennium and in conformity with the priorities and decisions of committee, giving priority to the budget lines related to capacity building and regional programs, and request the Secretariat to report accordingly to the committee at its following sessions. Thank you.
Is there any objection or you agree about this final wording? Okay. And we adopted paragraph by paragraph? So we go and adopt just this paragraph as there is an amendment to the other paragraphs. If there is no objection. So we'll adapt it is so adapt. You have objection à Tunisia?
Ce n'est pas tout à fait une objection, mais une intention. Hier, nous avons affronté ou été appelés à affronter le cas où certains paragraphes ont été adoptés et ensuite, lorsque l'évolution du texte posait un problème de cohérence, on nous a dit que les paragraphes précédents ont été évoqués. Il est évident que l'article 9 et l'article 10 ont un lien central entre l'un et l'autre. Nous acceptons cette modification de l'article 9 sous la condition que l'article 10 ne se maintienne pas. S'il se maintient, tout l'équilibre de l'article 9 tombe. Parce que là, on passe d'une proposition espagnole qui dit dédié seulement à une autre version qui est liée à une priorité. Si cela est acceptable comme version, parce que l'article 10 ne sera pas maintenu. Si, comme cela a été évoqué, peut-être que l'article 10 sera maintenu, probablement on reviendra à la rédaction de l'article 9 avec votre permission, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Now, let us then read all the paragraph and I mean the item and then adopt it as one. It's better like that. Please read the next paragraph, please, or show us the next paragraph.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you can see on the screen behind me, former paragraph 10 is proposed for deletion, and the distinguished representative of Tunisia pointed out that since these two paragraphs in his view are interlinked, we should come back to paragraph 9 if paragraph 10 is to be deleted. So, Madam Chair, the question right now, I believe, to the committee through you is whether everybody is in agreement with the deletion of former paragraph 10. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Australia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to clarify my understanding of paragraph 10, which is that this is an administrative efficiency to enable the World Heritage Centre to obtain temporary assistance. I understand it isn't going to affect the overall expenditure on contracted staff, in which case Australia would not support the deletion of this, as it's just restricting the ability of the centre to do what we've asked them to do.
Thank you very much. Yes, please, you have the floor.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je m'excuse d'avoir demandé encore une fois la parole. Mais avec tout le respect que je dois aux membres du comité, je trouve une cohérence entre le paragraphe 9 et 10. Maintenant, vous avez décidé de donner la priorité au programme de l'évasion des capacités. Le paragraphe 10 va dans ce sens, parce que si on doit, par exemple, donner beaucoup plus pour un aspect quelconque, pour capacity building, on va juste utiliser le type de contrat approprié pour faire cela. Ce n'est pas une fin en soi, le paragraphe 10, c'est juste une modalité administrative. C'est juste pour accompagner. Vous savez que en matière administrative, on a les contraintes du comité, mais aussi on a les contraintes des États membres. D'accord, on a les règles et procédures et on essaie un petit peu d'avoir le consentement des deux, c'est tout simplement. Moi, je ne voudrais pas que dans une année, les auditeurs viennent et disent oui, vous utilisez le contrat de consultant alors que pour une activité de capacity building, alors que ce n'est pas le type de contrat approprié, vous aurez dû utiliser le contrat service contract. C'est juste ça, c'est juste administratif. Donc c'est à vous de voir si vous voulez le biffer. Moi, je n'ai aucun inconvénient, mais c'est juste pour vous expliquer que c'est une cohérence administrative entre les règles administratives, les règles et procédures administratives qui sont dictées par les États membres et ce que vous souhaitez, vous, en tant qu'État partie. Merci.
Thank you very much. Tunisia, please. You have the floor.
Je remercie le comité de sa précieuse précision. Je crois que dans la version actuelle de l'article 9, puisqu'on permet à ce budget de couvrir les lignes liées à la capacity building et les programmes régionaux, bien entendu que ce budget va couvrir, entre autres choses, des recrutements liés à ces programmes. Et cela est couvert déjà par la version actuelle de l'article 9. Et cela évite quelques utilisations en dehors de ces finalités qui, certainement, sont au centre des intérêts de ce comité. Il n'y a rien qui soit perdu si ces recrutements sont liés à ces programmes. Ils sont déjà couverts par l'article 9. C'est une latitude juridique que donne le comité au centre pour pouvoir, de manière efficiente et souple, utiliser ces moyens pour ces finalités. Il n'y a rien qui soit perdu si nous enlevions l'article 10.
Thank you very much. I cannot see. Can you this one? Spain, please. You have the floor.
Yo siento tomar la palabra y estoy un poco confusa porque veo que se está pidiendo una autorización a algo que ya se está haciendo. Entonces estoy un poco... Yo entendía que con los fondos o con la financiación del Fondo de Patrimonio se dedicaba a esas prioridades que nos han explicado en el artículo nuevo. Repito, somos plenamente conscientes de las limitaciones que el centro tiene y de los continuos requerimientos que le estamos haciendo por parte de cada comité. Yo también entendía que eso estaba incluido en el artículo 9 y por eso, y a la luz de las explicaciones, como nos dicen que ya lo han estado haciendo, no entiendo la razón de que tenga que aparecer ahí un párrafo. No sé si aquí tenemos que seguir estudiando este tema para ver pues de aquí a otro comité si realmente esas necesidades de personal que lamentablemente no se cubren en el Centro de Patrimonio o en la Secretaría de la Convención a través del presupuesto ordinario, y cuando estamos peleando en el Comité de Finanzas que se dé más fondos para este objeto, y lo que estamos es intentando, por otro lado, cubrir unas necesidades de personal que, aunque perfectamente comprensibles porque van reduciéndose los secondments, pero vuelvo a decir, si ya se estaba haciendo, no entiendo por qué tenemos que poner aquí explícitamente un further authorize, que volvamos a autorizar al centro. Creo que dentro del margen que le hemos dejado en el artículo 9 podría seguir actuándose, dando prioridad a otras actividades y no focalizándose en estas de personal. Y como dice el embajador de Túnez, que cuando se esté hablando de programas de asistencia técnica o de los programas regionales, se incluyan los temas relativos al personal. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. Are there any further comments on this point, Article 9 and 10? Are there any further comments? Is there any harm to keep 10? No, I think there is no harm to keep. Is there any harm if there is repetition? And is there any harm to keep it? Please, Spain.
Yo creo que hemos explicado claramente. Solamente podríamos aceptar si se fuera further discussed, porque a mí no me queda muy claro y además así aprenderíamos un poco de cuál es la situación real de las necesidades que tiene de personal o de asistencias temporales para cubrir aparentemente los requerimientos que estamos haciendo, las solicitudes que estamos haciendo desde el comité, pero más allá de further debate o further study, a mí no me ha quedado muy claro por qué no se puede hacer en ese encaje esta posibilidad de usar las asistencias, los contratos o las consultorías temporales. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please.
Madam Chair, we also agree that 10 should be deleted.
Tunisia, please.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Ce n'est pas un attachement à des textes, c'est la cohérence de ce que nous sommes en train de dire. Il n'y a pas de répétition ou dédoublement, comme vous l'avez si bien gentiment suggéré. Si nous maintenons l'article 10, ces programmes peuvent ne pas être associés aux exigences de l'article 9. Par contre, si nous maintenons l'article 9 seulement, les possibilités, y compris de recrutement, peuvent être faites par le budget autorisé par l'article 9, mais liées à ces programmes. Donc le 9 couvre les deux, mais le 10 ouvre la porte à d'autres choses, ce qui semble ne pas être le souhait du comité, si j'ai bien compris le sens de la discussion. Mais ce ne sont pas deux situations équivalentes.
Thank you very much. So we understand that maybe most of you accept to remove the article or to delete Article 10? Yes? Accepted? Yes. Could you reflect? No. Let us adapt it all together. Please, go for next.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if we are in agreement to delete this paragraph, then we have arrived to the end of the amendment submitted by Spain. However, I just have a very, very small observation, it would be paragraph 21. If we could have it on the screen. Yes, thank you very much. You will see a little square bracketed part in the middle. I believe after the discussions we could just remove possibly, so that all the square brackets, I'm sorry, so that now it would read. Okay, just a second until we remove this. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. This is what I was aiming at. Thank you very much.
So is there any comments or objections? Can we adopt the whole 14 now? Is there any objection? So decision 42, 14 is adopted. Now, the decision 42, 9A. Are there any comments or objections? Can you?
Thank you very much. We're going to pull up the decision. As we have heard during the previous discussions, I have received amendments to this draft decision, and we have heard support for these amendments. We have amendments from Brazil, Burkina Faso, as well as the United Republic of Tanzania, and this amendment was supported by Tunisia and Zimbabwe. And you can also see integrated into the text the findings of the ad hoc working group. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Bahrain, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just in reference to the amendment on paragraph 4 made by Brazil, and I recall they were with us in the ad hoc working group, and we thank them for their constructive input during that process. The definition that has been presented on the first day of the meeting clearly states that the upstreaming process is a voluntary process, and that as it stands, it is a process that happens prior to nominations and not at any stage. And since the definition will be annexed to this decision, we feel that this paragraph might be a bit redundant, and we prefer it to be deleted as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comment? Norway, please. Norway, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Norway sympathizes with Bahrain's intervention, and we would rather not like to see the paragraph as it stands, because it makes it a bit confusing. What is the upstream process and what are other type of advisory processes? So we would like to not have that not that paragraph, and rather show to the decision by the ad hoc working group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any objection or any further comments? So we delete this paragraph? Yes? No objection? Okay.
Thank you very much. So then, because we have several amendments with decision, we're going to run through them from the top. So for paragraph 1, we can see some documents have been added to the first paragraph. And then now we have received the proposal to delete what was formerly paragraph 4. And then if we scroll down further below, we see the amendment of Tanzania that was supported from the floor by Tunisia and Zimbabwe about putting a special emphasis on those states parties who do not have any property inscribed on the World Heritage List. Then we have smaller amendments to paragraph 7 by Burkina Faso and Brazil, you can see. And then we have the addition of paragraph 8 and 9 that reflects what was already discussed in the ad hoc working group. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do you want us to read each paragraph, or it is enough for you to see it on the screen? Paragraph by paragraph, or all? So can we adopt it all as it is? Is there any objection? Okay. So we adopt decision. This one, no?
Yes, this was 9A.
Decision 42, 9A. Now we'll have item 7. You will recall that it was decided. Huh? Yes, you will recall that it was decided to examine the general decision 42.7 on the state of conservation of World Heritage properties at the end of our debate on item 7A and 7B. The agenda item was introduced on Tuesday morning last week by the director of the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies. Before we move to the draft decision, I would like to know whether there are any comments on this matter. Is there any comments? Item 7, Australia, please.
Madam Chair, you will recall that you asked us to sort out the drafting of a particular paragraph, and I'm pleased to report that in consultation with those delegations that had most interest in that particular paragraph around having, I think it was paragraph 12, around having both a geographic and thematic focus within the process for identifying which properties under 7A and B would be considered at the committee meeting each year. We have agreed some text which is now available for the committee's consideration.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Zimbabwe would like to thank Australia for leading this process of facilitating a statement that we would all agree upon, and we do accept the new paragraph 12, and we would request that we then remove the other paragraphs if everyone agrees.
Yes, I give the floor to the reporter.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So just to sum up where we are with this draft decision that we have already started earlier discussing, we have arrived up to the adoption of paragraph 11, and we have finished at paragraph 12. And the distinguished delegate of Australia has just shared with us this proposed formulation, because if you remember, we had several options, and it now seems that we have a consensual text for this particular paragraph. I would also just like to point out, going on forward, that we are going to have several amendments to other parts of the text. Thank you very much.
Do you agree that we adopt the consensus text number 12? Yes? So it is so adopted. Go further, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So then going on forward, we didn't receive any comments up until paragraph 21. If we could just maybe scroll down, thank you very much, where we have received one amendment from the delegation of Hungary about including the 1917 convention at the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So shall we adopt the full decision? Including 21. Do you have any comments on one of any article of this in this item? Is there any objection, Australia?
Madam Chair, just to seek clarity, so you're asking us whether we are happy to approve the whole of the text from the top to the bottom,
yes,
not just paragraph 21. That's correct? Yes. Well, from an Australian perspective, I think we're comfortable with now the whole of the text as amended, but there may be value in just allowing the committee to quickly see each of those ones that are proposed to change so that we could then move on and adopt it as a whole.
Yeah, is there any comments? Can you put it in the screen? The 21, which is amended.
So she goes on to 21 can be adopted, including 21.
So we adopted and all, including 21.
Now we go to the list.
Okay. So
Up to 21, including 21, and then our new parts coming.
okay. So we'll adopt up to 21, and the other will come after. So we adopt up to 21. Okay, it is so adopted. The rapporteurs will have to go through the next articles, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So here we see the proposal from Brazil to add a new, well, let's say subchapter about emergency situations resulting from natural disasters. And we can see the 3 paragraphs that they have proposed under this title. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Is there any comments about that, the last amendment? So can we adopt it? Okay. So it is so adopted. Go further, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then the other paragraphs from 25 through 28 would remain unchanged. And then for paragraph 29, which is dealing with climate change, we have a proposal from St. Kitts and Nevis supported by Brazil that you can see on the screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Spain, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Al igual que hemos hecho en otros foros, nosotros creemos que el Acuerdo de París es fundamental y hay que reforzarlo, pero queremos mantener el lenguaje estricto del mismo y por eso España prefiere que no se haga esta mención, esta enmienda propuesta por St. Kitts and Nevis, precisamente para reforzar ese relevante pero difícil equilibrio que se alcanzó en París y no añadir ningún tipo de adjetivaciones en unos foros en los que no están los expertos relevantes en materia de cambio climático. Muchísimas gracias, señora presidenta. Preferimos la redacción original.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
I think I said yesterday that Australia is comfortable with the text in 29 as it was proposed by St. Kitts because it's a direct replication of a decision of the committee last year. In the paragraph 31 that Australia has included, where we refer to consultation with states parties, I think it would be sensible to make it states parties, the advisory bodies and civil society.
Thank you very much. Okay. I see. Brazil, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to remind that the proposed amendment by St. Kitts repeats exactly what is written in the Paris Agreement. It doesn't add one word to it. So if we all signed the Paris Agreement, my country, for example, signed and ratified it, I don't see any difficulties in retaking or reproducing here the reference to the elevation of temperature. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Spain, please, you have the floor.
Muchas gracias. El problema cuando se toma una frase de un acuerdo y se inserta en un párrafo de otra decisión es que cambiamos un poquito el significado. Atendiendo a la redacción actual, estamos diciendo que especialmente esa parte del Acuerdo de París y no otros, reconociendo que esto, y no el Acuerdo de París, reduce los riesgos e impactos del cambio climático. Y en ese sentido, de ahí mi preocupación. Yo creo que hay que cambiar el acuerdo, hay que cumplir el Acuerdo del Cambio Climático de París en todo su contenido, no especialmente en uno o en otro. Ese es uno de los elementos, pero no todos. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Tanzania, please.
Madam Chair, I think in this committee we have adopted, allowing nomination of a site which has shown that the issue of climate change is very important. So we support the proposal of San Kitts and Brazil. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other comments? Cuba, please, you have the floor.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Cuba también apoya la propuesta de San Kitts and Nevis y Brasil. Y vamos con una preocupación, y es el impacto particular que tiene todo este tema en los pequeños estados insulares en desarrollo. Pero iremos por parte, de momento, a ratificar que estamos de acuerdo con la enmienda de Brasil.
Thank you very much. Now, is there any objection to the amendment? Is there any objection? China? No. Australia, please, you have the floor.
I just would like us to check to be absolutely clear that the text that's up there now is an exact replica of what was decided by the committee last year. So I think if the committee last year said especially holding, that's okay. But if the committee said only including holding, then I think we need to be consistent with the position that the committee took last year. So I'm just asked one of my delegation to quickly check for us.
Meanwhile, we can give the reporter to go to the next one. Spain, please, you have the floor.
Nosotros, si hay un sentido mayoritario, no nos opondremos, pero queremos dar constancia que no nos gusta que en otros foros se adjetive, se refuercen, se saquen párrafos determinados de un acuerdo que entendemos que es global. Y nos gustaría entonces que estuviéramos lo más aproximadamente, que nos aproximáramos al lenguaje de la última decisión, aunque no creemos que eso sea jurisprudencia. No es lo mismo decir especialmente que incluyendo, y preferiríamos en ese caso incluyendo como propuesta de compromiso.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Rossler, you answer the question, please.
Yes, I can answer the question concerning the decision of last year, which reiterates the importance of states parties undertaking the most ambitious implementation of the Paris Agreement of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, by, quote, holding the increase in the global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and by pursuing efforts to limit the global average temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, recognizing that this would significantly reduce the risks and impacts of climate change, end of quote, etc. Thank you.
Brazil, you have the floor, please.
Just to accommodate the concerns of our distinguished delegate of Spain, I would be satisfied with the same formulation we had for last year. Instead of especially or including, we would say by holding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Australia, please.
I agree with the distinguished delegate of Brazil on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tanzania, please.
Madam Chair, we also support the consensus. Thank you.
Thank you. It seems that there is no objection and there is a consensus. Yes, there is no objection. So please go ahead, reporter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just in this case, I suggest adding a second by after pre-industrial levels and by pursuing efforts, if I understood that was the correct wording. Thank you very much. So, shall I read out the paragraph or?
It's fine. It's fine. Yes. Okay. Is there any other paragraph? Yeah. Okay.
Well, then moving on to paragraph 31, if this paragraph is to be retained amended, we have a suggestion from Australia that was already slightly amended by the author itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So is there any comments, other comments? Thank you. So we can adopt it from clause 22 to, can you just specify please, from 22 to?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
No, wait. I have to adopt the decision. From 22. It's
the last amendments she has.
Yeah, but the articles we have to amend. We have amended till 21. Now from 22 to.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So just to clarify, paragraph 31 amended is the last amendment that we have received so far for this text.
To 31. So
thank you.
Thank you. So we'll adapt now the articles from 22 to 31, if there is no objection. So it is so adopted. And the rest from this item, there is no changes or comments. Is there any comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize. I just see right now we have a small amendment proposed in paragraph 44 by Brazil that you can see on the screen right now. Thank you very much.
So Article 44, there is amendment, small amendments. Is there any objection? No. So it is so decided.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Then I have checked and I do not see any other amendments received so far on the rest of the text. And now this decision has 60 paragraphs. Thank you very much.
So finally, I therefore declare draft decision 42,7 in a whole adopted. So it is. Dear colleague, under other business, I would like to give the floor to the delegation of Tanzania, as agreed during the Bureau meeting regarding the consultation for hosting the next World Heritage Committee. Please, you have the floor, Tanzania.
Your Excellency, Madam Chair, thank you very much for giving me the floor. The State Party of Tanzania would like to take this opportunity to inform this committee that it decided earlier to submit its candidature so as to bring about a much-needed sense of belonging into the World Heritage community, represented by this committee, taking into memory that this would have been the second time for Africa to host the committee after it was last hosted by South Africa in 2005. Indeed, hosting of the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee in Africa could raise the much-needed awareness on the importance of managing World Heritage to leaders and the African community at large. This is especially important at this time that the World Heritage and Sustainable Development Agenda, which was earmarked for discussion during the 41st session of the committee in Krakow, is gaining momentum. Bringing the 43rd session in Africa is in line with the Priority Africa program of UNESCO, which aims at building institutional capacities for sustainable development and poverty eradication, among others. It is against this backdrop that the United Republic of Tanzania officially submitted its candidature for hosting the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee on 28th June 2018, at the time when it was informed by the Secretariat that there was no any other candidate which had done so. But it later came to our notice that the State Party of Azerbaijan, which earlier expressed the intention to host the 43rd session, had officially submitted its written candidature immediately after we had submitted ours. In view of what I have said, it was advised by the Secretariat that Tanzania and Azerbaijan should sit together and agree on the best way forward under the chairmanship of Excellency, the Ambassador of Brazil. We had intensive but constructive consultations with Azerbaijan and agreed that we both continue to consult our capitals for further guidance. On our part, we consulted higher authorities, and in the spirit of maintaining the smooth workings and understanding of the committee, we have decided to withdraw our candidature. We believe that Azerbaijan will take the African agenda on board and make it reflected during the 43rd session. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you. On your behalf, I thank the delegation of Tanzania and Azerbaijan for this understanding and cooperation. This is really the spirit of the United Nations organization. I wish you all the success maybe in your next candidature for this committee. And also on your behalf, I thank the Ambassador of Brazil for her flexibility, for her understanding, and for her successful effort. Thank you very much. And I congratulate Azerbaijan for their next presidency of this honorable committee. Thank you very much. I give the floor to Uganda, please, and then.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. The delegation of Uganda would like to thank the delegations of Tanzania and Azerbaijan for amicably reaching an agreement on the matter of hosting the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee. Uganda therefore wishes to congratulate Azerbaijan and thank the State Party for its willingness to host this prestigious committee in the year 2019. It ought to be appreciated that the bid by Tanzania was a bid by Africa. In that regard, therefore, Uganda would like to express its interest to host the 44th session of the World Heritage Committee in the year 2020. I thank you.
Thank you very much. And now I give the floor to Azerbaijan, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I would like to thank Ambassador of Brazil for this wonderful job and facilitating our work and the negotiations with the Republic of Tanzania. And I would like to thank her for her personal efforts and the cooperation in this regard. In the same vein, I would like to thank delegation of Tanzania for a very constructive approach to this issue. We had discussed this a couple of times, and I would like to commend their understanding and the spirit of dialogue and cooperation that was prevailing in our discussions. Of course, I don't want to go in the history of this, who presented this candidature first or second. I think it's not a matter of to discuss it right now, but I would like to just to highlight that we fully subscribe to what have been said by the delegation of Tanzania about the priority Africa and the special emphasis that we give to this priority within this house of UNESCO. So I would like to reiterate my country's commitment to engage on this issue and to reinforce our efforts and to spare no efforts, I would say, to keep this issue higher on agenda during our chairmanship. So I would like to thank all countries, all members of the committee for their support and for their constructive engagement on this matter. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now the floor is to Tunisia, please, for Tunisia.
Merci Madame la Présidente. La Tunisie se félicite de cet esprit de consensus et de coopération dans lequel se terminent nos travaux d'ailleurs et dans lequel elles ont commencé. Et nous nous en félicitons d'autant plus que les propos de l'honorable représentant de la Tanzanie nous rassurent sur l'esprit et sur la volonté de porter la priorité Afrique au cœur de notre programme et l'application de notre convention. Je souhaiterais rappeler à l'honorable représentant de la Tanzanie qu'au-delà de la future rencontre en Tanzanie et l'ancienne en Afrique du Sud, le comité s'était déjà tenu en Égypte, en Tunisie et au Maroc, et qui sont tout autant des pays africains. Je voudrais également saluer l'esprit de coopération dans lequel le rapprochement des deux positions a été fait sous la direction de son honorable représentante du Brésil. Nous nous félicitons de cet état d'esprit et nous sommes sûrs que nos amis d'Azerbaïdjan assureront toutes les conditions de réussite à notre 43e session.
Thank you very much. Now I give the floor to Brazil, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a brief word to thank the distinguished delegates, heads of delegation of Tanzania and Azerbaijan for the very constructive spirit demonstrated during the meetings we had aiming at achieving a consensus decision on the place for our 43rd session. I would like to highlight the atmosphere of cooperation and friendship that brought up this decision just announced by the head of the delegation of Tanzania. I would also like to register the importance of privileging Priority Africa in our next meeting, as already announced by the distinguished head of delegation of Azerbaijan. And in this regard, I would like to propose, Madam Chairperson, that when we analyze tomorrow the agenda for the 43rd, our 43rd meeting, that we include on the agenda a specific item dedicated to addressing Priority Africa, sustainable development, and management of World Heritage. Thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you very much. And I thank you again for your efforts to finalize this matter from yesterday evening. Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to congratulate the government of Tanzania for this understanding, as well as to congratulate Azerbaijan as our next host. I raise my flag to fully endorse the proposal made by the Ambassador of Brazil for a special agenda item that looks at Priority Africa at the World Heritage meeting next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any request for intervention? Okay, nobody. So thank you very much. As you know, Azerbaijan invited the next session of the World Heritage Committee to Baku in Azerbaijan. I would like to know if you all agree with this proposal. So it is so decided. It's so decided. I congratulate Azerbaijan, and I understand that a delegation of Azerbaijan wishes to propose candidate as chairperson of the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee. So I give you the floor, please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Dear friends, delegates, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it's really my honor to be with you on the 42nd session of the World Heritage Committee. And I would like to express my gratitude to the host country of Bahrain and thank all those who organized this session. I would also like to take the opportunity and express our great gratitude to UNESCO for their outstanding activity and contribution to the transforming education, heritage and culture into a global, international common ground, which unites us through our differences and develops such a common value. Azerbaijan attaches great importance to relations with UNESCO. The cultural diversity, intercultural dialogue, multiculturalism have huge impact on our society, and this determines priorities for our policy. It was mentioned by the president of the country, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, that the role of Azerbaijan in intercultural dialogue and our strategy is to build trust and understanding among cultures, nations, and communities, not only within our country, but also outside of it as well. Being in close partnership with UNESCO, we are also happy to be a part of the projects that help to protect heritage, raise awareness, and develop global policies in different significant issues they deal with. Currently, we're participating at the World Heritage Committee, and two sites of Azerbaijan that had been included in the World Heritage list later were given the special priority by the special decrees of the President. That's why we were happy to and responsible to submit our candidacy to hold the 43rd session of the committee in Baku next year, and I thank everyone for such appreciation of this idea. It's not a coincidence that in recent years it has become a tradition for Azerbaijan to host prestigious international events, also addressing universal, essential problems of inter-civilizational and interfaith dialogue. The matter of the protecting tangible and intangible heritage, preserving historic and cultural legacy are such issues that the Azerbaijan government pays special attention to. We joined to the UNESCO's Convention concerning the protection of the world cultural and natural heritage in 1993. Since that time, has actively participated in different programs aimed in protection of the cultural and natural heritage of outstanding universal value. And we did it not only with our country, within our country, we implemented several projects concerning the support to the countries in the different regions of the world, including Asian countries, African countries, including the Eastern Europe countries, and etc. The matter today is how to better protect our heritage by minimizing threats and maximizing benefits, by raising awareness on its value. Proper conservation and authority of buildings following carrying capacities of unique sites, protecting such places from the consequences of wars and terrorism, achievement of the sustainable development are among the main challenges. I think that experience of Azerbaijan in organizing of high-level international events among which I can say that the 8th session of the Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Heritage in 2013, Biennial World Forum on Intercultural Dialogue held since 2011, the 7th Global Forum of the United Nations Alliance of Civilization held in 2016 permits us to ensure all the delegates that we will do our best to promote the best facilities and the successful holding of this event. Moreover, the conclusion, I would like to thank our honorable delegates from the African countries for their understanding. And we, like a proposal, would like to place the idea to hold a special side event within the session which we will hold next year in Baku, dedicated to the situation with the African countries, where they can actively participate at. Once more, I would like to thank all delegates for such kind of support, and we're proud to have so strict and honored cooperation with UNESCO. We hope that we will go further with the same spirit of understanding and cooperation anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Zimbabwe, please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In response to your question in the Bureau on who the Vice President from the Africa region will be, the committee, the Africa group has agreed that Burkina Faso will be the Vice Chair.
Thank you very much. So I understand from the warm reception of your announcement that this proposal is accepted unanimously. The newly elected chairperson of the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee is His Excellency, the Minister of Culture in Azerbaijan. So congratulations, and I wish you all the success in this honorable position. Before giving the floor, yeah.
We had this one already, so it's Burkina Faso. And we get now to this one.
Yeah. What was it? I understand that the delegation of China would like to present a candidate representative of the Asian and Pacific region. You have the floor, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As stated during the Bureau meeting, China has already recommended Indonesia as the Vice Chair of ASPA Group to the next session of World Heritage Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shall I take it that the committee agree with this proposal? Kuwait, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairperson. The Arab groups would like to recommendation suggest Tunisia to be representative for the Arab group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Spain, please.
Muchas gracias, señora presidenta. Nosotros queremos proponer por parte del Grupo 1 a Noruega como vicepresidenta, y permítanme dar la enhorabuena tanto a Tanzania por ese elegante gesto y su ofrecimiento como al próximo presidente de nuestro comité, al ministro de Cultura de Azerbaiyán. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you very much. For Latin America.
Thank you, Madam Chair. After consultations in our regional group, we reached the agreement that Brazil would continue as Vice Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So Indonesia for the Asia, Brazil for Latin American Caribbean, Tunisia for the Arab region, Burkina Faso for Africa, Norway for Europe. And now we have elected the rapporteur of the, I think, yeah, we have to elect the rapporteur of the 43rd session. And China would like to say something about this.
Thank you again, Madam Chairperson, to give me a floor. And China may recommend Madame Mahani Taylor from Australia to be the rapporteur for the 43rd session of the World Heritage Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and congratulations. And now I just declare, do you want to speak? Yes, Azerbaijan. Okay. So now, thank you very much. I now declare item 16 as closed. Azerbaijan would like to speak. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before concluding this item, I would like to invite the committee to watch a small movie, a small video about our country presentation, which will last just 2 minutes, more than, 2 minutes, which will be a good teaser. Thank you.
Welcome to the 43rd session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee. Situated at the crossroads of East and West, where different cultures and civilizations meet, Azerbaijan reflects that unique position in its broad diversity of nationalities and faiths, living together in harmony. Hundreds of intriguing historical sites dating from ancient times and cultures have been preserved in Azerbaijan, demonstrating that local nations have honored their cultural heritage down through the centuries. The visible result is the highly tolerant and inclusive society seen here today. The walled city of Baku, with the Shirvanshah's Palace and Maiden Tower, inscribed into the UNESCO World Heritage List together with Flame Towers and Haydar Aliyev Center as a symbol of development, created harmony, an extraordinary synthesis of East and West, ancient and modern. Today, Azerbaijan is a rapidly developing, independent country, building a modern secular state based on strong national traditions. A noteworthy component of Azerbaijan's national and foreign policy is the protection and promotion of its moral values, its historical and cultural heritage, and its unique significance on the world stage. Combining Western and Eastern architectural elegance, Baku is without question one of the most beautiful cities in the world. The World Forum on Intercultural Dialogue, the Baku International Humanitarian Forum, and various other global forums on intercultural and intercivilization dialogues and events are traditionally held here. Additional experience was gained from the Eurovision Song Competition, the first European Games, the fourth Islamic Solidarity Games, Formula One Grand Prix, the 7th Global Forum of the United Nations Alliance of Civilizations, and the 8th session of the UNESCO Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of Intangible Cultural Heritage. All these large-scale and prestigious events have been very well served, thanks to hospitality of the local people and Baku's transportation and tourism infrastructure. Azerbaijan and its capital city Baku is remarkably well suited to welcome guests of the 43rd session of the UNESCO World Heritage Committee and assure them a memorable experience. Welcome to Azerbaijan.
Thank you very much, and congratulations again. So I will not keep you more. Just we have our last item, which is related to our agenda of the 43rd session. And now I give the floor to Mrs. Rossler to present to you your next agenda. Thank you very much. Please.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As you will see from the document 17 that has been distributed to you this morning, the provisional agenda of our next session is proposed according to the usual schedule of examination of items. 2 items and sub-items have, however, been included in this provisional agenda following requests which were put forward during this very session. The sub-item 5D regarding the report on strengthening of dialogue between the advisory bodies and state parties, and also further to the discussion you had today on item 8, according to what was discussed and decided during your debate, we would propose to have item 8 named General Matters on Nomination Process. This has been accordingly corrected in the version of document 17 that is now on the screen. So we will then have not anymore an item 8F which we had proposed. Now, please note that this examination could proceed in the same way as we examined the general item on decision 7 under state of conservation. This means this sub-item could be opened at the beginning of the examination of item 8 and be kept open until its closing. This will also allow to take into consideration all debates, interventions, as well as decisions under item 8. Furthermore, there is a slight change in the title of item 9A, as it is also proposed to name it upstream process, and this is now also reflected in the version on the screen. Furthermore, as we have heard just now in the debate before on Priority Africa, and this is a very important item for us and very dear to our heart, as I've been myself to Arusha for the big meeting in 2016 on World Heritage and Sustainable Development in Africa, the delegation of Brazil made a proposal to have an additional item on Priority Africa, Sustainable Development and World Heritage, if I understood correctly. So with your permission, Madam Chair, this could be added either under, as you know, next year we will have the item 5C, which is World Heritage Convention and Sustainable Development, and you can put it underneath, having a new item under 5C on Priority Africa, or at another moment in time. So I seek your guidance where you wish to have this item, which is called Priority Africa, Sustainable Development and World Heritage. Thank you very much. Maybe we could clarify this, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to put the item within the, where you located?
They put it just here after 5C, but...
After 5C. Is there any objection? Tunisia, please.
Ce n'est pas une objection, Madame la Présidente, voire même une grande satisfaction, mais je remercie Madame la Directrice du Centre de nous avoir soumis ce projet qui nous projette déjà dans notre 42e session, mais d'un avis assez partagé, en tous les cas, à travers les délégations. Nous avons remarqué que les points discutés à partir d'hier et d'aujourd'hui, alors qu'ils sont extrêmement stratégiques et très très importants, ne bénéficient ni de la présence massive des États partis à la Convention, qui en général, une fois le point relatif aux inscriptions terminé, ne reste plus, et deuxièmement, fait les frais de la fatigue générale cumulée par les États membres du comité, et cela ne leur permet pas la visibilité et la force de discussion contradictoire nécessaires. Vous avez commencé par placer, et c'était l'une de mes propositions, que cette priorité figure au début de la session. Je n'ai pas proposé un projet d'amendement, mais c'est une simple indication et ce serait souhaitable que d'ici la session, cela puisse être reflété. Il me paraît, par exemple, que les points 9 relatifs à la stratégie globale, que le point 8 sur l'assistance internationale, que le point 14, rapport sur l'exécution du budget, etc., et d'autres points importants, stratégiques, bénéficient de l'avantage du début de la session. Un autre point relatif à certaines de nos résolutions déjà prises, ceux qui sont relatifs à la clarification de la procédure et de l'interprétation des règles et procédures par rapport à l'adoption et au classement, gagnerait à être placé en début de session. Comme ça, la 42e session elle-même bénéficiera de ces décisions, et la 43e, et n'attendra pas la 44e. C'est une simple proposition qui tient compte de nos modes de fonctionnement et qui, malheureusement, ne permet pas à la fin du programme de bénéficier de l'enthousiasme du début.
Thank you very much. I give the floor to Cuba, please. Cuba, you have the floor.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Debo decir que compartimos la preocupación que ha expresado el delegado de Túnez, justamente porque hay un grupo de temas que son fundamentales para el funcionamiento de la convención, y verlos todos de manera ya en un solo día, en que todos estamos agotados, parecería que estamos como que violentando los debates que pudieran tener sobre este tema. Sabemos las limitaciones presupuestarias en cuanto al tiempo para sesionar el comité, pero agradeceríamos que la Secretaría hiciera un esfuerzo para buscar un mayor equilibrio en el fondo de tiempo de la sesión y en la distribución de estos temas que nos permita tratarlos con igual prioridad con que tratamos el estado de conservación y las inscripciones. De igual modo, sin ánimos de violentar la enmienda sobre la prioridad África, nos gustaría también que haya alguna referencia a los pequeños estados insulares, teniendo en cuenta que son un grupo prioritario de la UNESCO y ha adoptado la propia organización una estrategia para la implementación del Plan de Acción de Samoa, donde hay un grupo de elementos que tienen que ver con el impacto del cambio climático en estos pequeños estados y, por supuesto, con el patrimonio. Cuba, que es una isla que tiene 9 sitios declarados en la lista, tiene especial importancia en que estos temas sean tratados de manera sistémica en el marco de la Agenda 2030. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Uganda, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair Lady. We've withdrawn what we wanted to say, but if it's acceptable, I know customs and traditions are man-made, and we can be flexible about some of them. Madam Chair, if you may notice, after we finished the agenda of inscription, the House almost fell empty. So my suggestion is that for the coming 43rd session, in the wisdom of Secretariat, you could have such an item towards the end to keep the House full to the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a very practical and good proposal. And just now I give the floor to Mrs. Rossler to answer.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We will try to make the impossible possible and to get a full house, definitely. To answer the questions which were raised by Tunisia, this is a question not of the numbering of the items, but of the timetable. So we can move important items in the timetable before, but we keep the numbering of the items, which facilitates also the work in between the sessions. So with your permission, we try to do that, but we also try not to prolong the session, as I said to you earlier today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Before we close, I can congratulate again Azerbaijan, and I wish you all the success for your next meeting. And tomorrow our meeting will be 10 o'clock as usual, and I give Mrs. Rosler again the floor to give you to say an announcement. Last announcement.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I think you are all curious to read all the decisions you have adopted. So tomorrow from 9 a.m. onwards, the decisions report in printed copies will be available for the delegations from the committee. I think there will be a very limited number of copies because Bahrain is concerned about sustainability, as we all know. So we don't want to use too much paper, but we try to make it possible. And the adoption, as Madam Chair said, will start from 10 a.m. Thank you very much and have a great evening. You will announce? Oh, yes. Just to tell you, there will be a closing ceremony, but maybe Bahrain is in a better position to announce. I think there's a party tonight at 7:30. Maybe Bahrain could announce it. Thank you.
That's correct, Michelle. Then it's 7:30 here at the Ritz, but in another tent. So the tent is on the other side of the hotel, but it's in the vicinity of the Ritz-Carlton as well. And there'll be members of our team guiding delegates to the other venue at 7:30. Thank you.